Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ofune and I am the face behind Coco Swatches. Excuse my voice, just had a birthday, partying a little bit too hard, still working on it coming back, so if it's a little bit raspy, please just ignore it. Today we are going to be getting into another foundation. We have here the new Fenty Beauty Hydrating Longwear Foundation. Now, a lot of people, I'm sure, are wondering whether or not they're going to enjoy this foundation. So if you're like me and you have combination oily skin and you're wondering whether or not this foundation is going to work for you, I got y'all. I'm going to do a first impressions and a wear test, and we're going to get into the nitty gritty of this foundation. So if you're interested in this foundation, want to find out more, even if you have normal skin or just want to kind of see how it performs, stay tuned and keep on watching. So let's get into the claims of this foundation. I have the box here. Let's compare the matte foundation to this new hydrating one. So this is the difference in size. Please excuse my nails. They're about the same size, just different packaging. Hopefully you guys can see that. It's almost like they go together. They're definitely counterparts. I am in the shade 445, so I'm trying the shade 445 in the Hydrating Foundation. I also plan to do comparison swatches of the shades that I was sent in PR with the matte shades, just to see if there is difference. Sometimes different foundation formulas might be slightly darker or slightly lighter than their counterpart, even if they have the same number. Hopefully what I'm saying is making sense. I feel like it is, but as it leaves my mouth, I'm not sure. So hopefully you get what I'm saying. Basically, I will compare the matte version to the hydrating versions in the shades that I was sent to see if there are any differences. But today I'm just gonna, this is the first impressions. I haven't even touched this foundation. I just got back from vacation, so I'm like catching up. So I'm just gonna go with 445 and we're just gonna see how it turns out. So I have the box right here and I'm just gonna quickly read what it says to you. It has a quick description. It's hydrating, medium to full coverage for all skin tones, long wear, light as air. So those are the basic claims. And you can see this is actually the foundation that you're seeing. It's not like a, you know, sometimes like foundations will have a color overlay of what the foundation looks like inside. This is actually the foundation that you're seeing through this plastic, so that's kind of nice. So yeah, let's just jump right in. So typically when someone with oily or combination skin hears the term hydrating, it's kind of intimidating. You're like, ooh, I don't want to look hydrated. I already look hydrated enough with the oil on my face. But I will tell you that sometimes things are not as they seem. One of my favorite foundations is actually described as like a glowy foundation. That's the Too Faced Born This Way foundation that Jackie Aina helped expand their shades. When I first tried that foundation and actually look at the description on Sephora.com, it is described as something that has a little bit more of a glow to it. I don't remember if it's like glowy or radiant finish, but that's how it's described by the brand. So the fact that I could wear that foundation gives me a little bit of hope that I might be able to also enjoy this foundation. So I'm not gonna count it out. We're gonna try it and we're gonna see what's good. So I'm going to actually apply this foundation the way I would the Too Faced Born This Way foundation. So the first thing I'm gonna do is take my Milk Makeup primer. I think I told you on the last video that this is like the only primer that I've ever tried that I actually feel like works for me. And like I said, I have oily skin, so this is also like hydro. So, and also keep in mind, sometimes when you have oily skin and you put too many mattifying things on your face, it has the opposite effect. It just makes you more oily. So don't necessarily run away from things that are described as hydrating, because hydration is not the same as oil. So yeah, I'm gonna go in with this first. So the next thing I would do is, if I was using the Too Faced Born This Way foundation, is actually powder before foundation. It's also another technique I learned from Jackie. By the way, if you're wondering what's on my eyes, talking about Jackie Aina, speaking of, I have her new palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills on the eyes. Let me know if you want me to do a more in-depth tutorial on a look. by the time this video goes up, swatches will be up on my page, but I also probably want to film a look or something with it, so let me know what you guys are interested in. If you want something more quick on Instagram, I could do a full YouTube review on it. Let me know in the comments below. But as I was saying, I also learned this technique from Jackie that you can powder before foundation to control oil, and that's how I wear the Too Faced Born This Way, so that's what I'm going to do with this foundation. So I have here in the PR package, I was sent this little cute sponge. So I'm going to go ahead with the Pro Filtr foundation. Not foundation, the Pro Filtr powder in the shade Cashew. This is the shade I used to bake. It's a little light, but since I'm putting a darker color over it, I don't foresee it being an issue. Hopefully this doesn't ruin my whole video. Here we go. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm going to press this powder into the places that I typically get oily, which is my T-zone and my nose. And I think the Hydro Grip also kind of helps with this because it like grips anything you put on it. So it's actually gripping the powder, and that the powder is not gonna go anywhere. So when you put the foundation on it, I just feel like it's gonna give it a really nice finish. All right, so I'm all powdered up. Next, I'm gonna go in with foundation. I actually these days am really enjoying applying foundation with a brush, and luckily they sent a brush in the PR package. I think this is a new foundation brush from them. I don't think the other one they have is this large. It's this number 115 foundation brush from Fenty Beauty. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm going to take this. This is how it goes right here. Has a little pump. I'm gonna pump, let's start with, I think maybe 2 is a safe number. 2 pumps on the back of my hand here. And let's hope this is my shade, because I have not even swatched, or this is the first time I'm opening the foundation. So let's see. Okay, so yeah, I'm just gonna take the brush. We're just gonna go like this. So I can definitely, you know what? I actually should have done how I usually do and use my finger to apply the foundation to my face before I blend it out, but that's okay. So in this first application, I can tell like there's definitely a radiant finish off of, you know, this is like literally my first impression. I can see the radiant finish, but I can also see how the powder is kind of mattifying it a little bit. I think without the powder, it would be a lot more radiant. I'm gonna go ahead and add a couple more pumps because sometimes when you put a brush into product, it just absorbs the product and then none gets on your face. So actually I like to use my finger and apply it like this and then use my brush. I don't know why I did it the other way before, but whatever. So for the other side, I'm gonna do it this way. So in terms of a color match, this looks, I'm not sure. Well, okay. Yeah, so I'm looking at this side I just applied, and then over here, it does look like it's oxidizing a teensy tiny bit, kind of like how the, or I guess it's not technically oxidizing, I don't know how exactly to describe it, but it does get a little bit darker if you wait a few minutes. So I think that this is definitely my match still. And it looks like it's basically the same shade as it is in the matte formula. But like I said, I'm gonna have swatches to actually literally see the comparison, but just using my eye, it looks the same. Coverage wise, I feel like, I mean, okay, so I did apply powder, but so that's already giving me some coverage, but I feel like I'm getting pretty good coverage. Granted, I'm at like 4 pumps right now, but you know, it did say medium to full, so I assume that means it's buildable. So I feel like I'm getting pretty good coverage. So this is the finished application of the foundation. Off camera, I did use my sponge to blend everything in a little bit better. I looked looking closely into my mirror. I feel like I still am a little bit more on the medium side, but I don't really feel like I want to apply any more foundation to my face. I feel like this is a good place to stop, especially because I am planning on putting on concealer and powder and everything. I think that the pumps themselves are quite small. I don't know what that is. I think that the pumps themselves are quite small, so like I felt like I was pumping out a lot, but like when I actually look at the amount of product coming out each time, it wasn't that much. Not as much as the matte one anyway. So maybe if you want a fuller application, you just need more pumps. But I think for today, I'm gonna stop here. So far it's looking pretty radiant, even with the powder. So you know, hopefully I didn't shoot myself in the foot with the Hydro Grip Primer, but we're gonna see. So let's go ahead with concealer. I like to mix. We're just gonna keep it Fenty. We're just gonna keep it Fenty today. I'm going to take the Pro Filtr Concealer in the shade 400 and 385 and use that to highlight. And some people don't, I watch people say they don't like to let this concealer set. I know, I do. I find that it gives me more coverage when I let it sit for a sec and I'm still able to move around the product. But anyway. And I also have the shade 470 here. I'm gonna use that to bronze, just to see, you know, let's just get a good use out of this tutorial and see what this foundation can do. So yeah, still pumping, waiting for the product to come out. Come on. I have faith in you. Come out, please. Finally, success. All right, so like I said, like these pumps that are coming out, I don't know if you guys can see, they are baby pumps, like super small, super tiny. So yeah, I probably could have gone with like more than 4 pumps, but anyway, so I'm gonna use my foundation brush and go ahead and just like carve the cheeks out a little bit with this color. It is not that dark, but it's just dark enough to create a little bit of a sculpt. Hopefully you guys can see that. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this sponge and blend this out. So far, it feels like the concealer pairs really nicely with this foundation. As I'm blending it out, I'm not sure if this is because I'm using this sponge or the product, it does feel a little bit sticky on the face. So it's like almost like I have to set it. Like I don't know what would happen if I didn't put powder on top of the concealer and the foundation mixture or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, that's all I really have to report on that. But so far it looks really good. So like I said, I use cashew to set. So I'm gonna go ahead and make sure that this is blended. And then I'm going to take cashew and set everything. By the way, I do like to use a sponge to set my powder. I just feel like it makes everything look more seamless, in my opinion. You can also use a brush to do this or a poof, but I'm just good with a sponge. So far, even with powder, I'm still getting the radiant finish, which is actually a good thing because obviously you don't want to change the finish of the foundation. If you want a radiant finish foundation, you want it to look radiant still. The question is it going to last? Am I going to start going from radiant to oily, and how long is that process gonna take? So I actually really like the finish of this foundation though. And at this point in time, initially, what time is it? We're gonna do the wear test for when I first apply. So right now it's 2:12. Let's say 2 o'clock. So you know, let's say I apply this foundation at 2. So you know, as of 10 minutes, 10 minutes in, I really like the way it looks. It looks like my skin. It just looks pretty natural. I mean, as natural as foundation is gonna get you, but I really enjoy the finish. It reminds me of the NARS Natural Radiant Longwear, which is also another foundation that I enjoy, even though it does have the word radiant in the name. So I'm not counting this foundation out at all. I'm excited. I'm excited to see how it performs. So this is what we're looking like after foundation and concealer and powder. I am going to go and contour and bronze and finish my eye makeup. I'll come back and we'll discuss quickly, and I will update you all throughout the day on the progress of this foundation. It is very hot today. I do have some work, some swatching and things I need to be doing outside. So we're gonna see how this foundation holds up. So this is my finished look. Now that everything has kind of settled in, I feel like now that everything is settled in, I feel like I might have gone overboard with the powder, but sometimes that's how my makeup looks at first, and then after like a few hours it settles in. So what I'm gonna do is just, I already said I'm looking a little powdery, but I just have to take these precautions. We're gonna go with the setting powder I use from Fenty is the hazelnut shade. I'm just gonna dip my beauty blender in here and just set the parts of my nose again, parts of my nose, parts of my face that I know are gonna get oily. I'm trying to decide if I should play myself with a setting spray, because setting sprays are one of those things that I'm really not sure if they work for me. Sometimes I feel like they help, sometimes I feel like they don't. So I don't know. So you can see it's giving me a little bit more of a matte finish. So I decided that I am looking pretty powdery. I don't want to defeat the whole purpose of this foundation. I don't want to turn a hydrating foundation into a matte foundation. I'm just trying to combat the oils that might come through, that might turn this hydrating foundation into me looking like an oil slick. So I'm gonna go ahead and just use this Hangover RX spray from Too Faced and just give myself a few sprays just to set everything in. And I think this is also another tip I learned from Jackie, is to just press your setting spray in with your beauty sponge. So this is how my face is looking. It is 2:37. So apply the foundation finish the face around 2:30, let's say. So I'm gonna come back and check in maybe around 4 or 5, and we'll see, maybe the powder will have settled in a little bit more. We'll see what we're really working with this foundation. So stay tuned and I will be right back. So it is 4:42. This is about a 2.5 hour check-in. My skin still looks really good, except for in the nose area, which is to be expected, but it's holding up pretty well. And I've been outside. It's really sunny and hot today, so I'm definitely putting it to the test. But so far, so good. I will say, I'm not sure if this is because I was just on vacation, but maybe 445 is not my summer shade. I don't know. I feel like my face is looking a little lighter than usual, but like I said, I'm doing those swatches, so we'll see. It might just be the powder that I used, that light powder I used under my foundation. So yeah, but 2.5 hours in, this is what we're looking like, and I'm not mad at it. Okay, we are back. The time is now 12:06. Officially, I've had this foundation on for about 10 hours, and this is what it looks like. Obviously, the lighting is different. I don't really shoot at night that often, so I just have my ring light here, actually editing the footage. Probably can see it over there behind me that I took earlier today, but I'll just give you a quick rundown of my final thoughts on this foundation. Right now, I do look pretty hydrated. I do look pretty oily in the T-zone, which is just normal for any foundation, whether it's matte or hydrating or satin or natural, whatever. So this is just a pretty normal finish for like a 10-hour wear for me. I don't think that it looks that bad. I feel like it just looks like a radiant finish. Obviously I would blot. So after blotting, I still look like I have a pretty hydrating finish, but it's just a little bit less oily. So I feel like this foundation does what it says it's going to do. It's a long wearing hydrating foundation, and it comes in all the 50 shades that the Fenty foundation comes in. I will have on the screen somewhere the swatch comparisons, or you can just go to my Instagram page and check it out. But basically, if you are one shade in the Fenty foundation in the matte version, you're probably going to be the same one in the hydrating one. I just realized that I got darker on vacation, so that's why I was looking a little bit lighter, because when I compared the matte version to this version, it's basically the same. So all in all, I enjoyed this foundation. Like I said, it reminded me of like my NARS Radiant Longwear. That foundation is a foundation that I tend to wear in the colder months, or mixing it with, like I would mix my Radiant Longwear with my Fenty Pro Filtr Matte. I don't know what I'm saying, it's late, but you know what I'm trying to say. So this is probably something that I would probably mix with the other Fenty foundation. It's not that it's a bad foundation, I just have other foundations that are a better match for my skin type. So to answer the question, can someone with oily skin wear this foundation? Yes, you can if you're looking for that hydrating finish. But if I were you, I might suggest that this might be better for sometime during the colder months, even with all the powder and everything, which is still a good thing. But with the powder and everything that I applied, you still get a pretty radiant finish at the end of the day, which is what the foundation is meant to do. So I mean, that's nothing to be surprised about or upset about. It does literally exactly what it says it does. So if you're looking for something like this, or something that maybe you want to add to some of your more mattifying foundations, definitely check it out. So I hope this video was helpful to anybody considering this foundation. Maybe you think that the other Pro Filtr matte foundation is too drying. You should definitely check this one out. And even if you love the other one, this one might be something that you can mix with the other one to make kind of your own custom finish, or something you can wear in the fall and the winter time. So again, I hope this video was helpful. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel, because it helps me out so much, and I'm so grateful for all of you. So thank you again for watching, and I will see you in the next video.